Hi everyone, Trina here, and some of you know, but I have a horrible cold, so my voice is pretty messed up and you may hear me cough, but due to the fact that I am off work, I decided I would read some more of the book. I tried yesterday, but my voice would not cooperate, so pardon the problem with the speaking. I hope it isn't too intolerable, but bear with me because I would love to get into some more of this amazing research with you guys. So this is Origins of Soul, and this will be, I believe, 5.6. So here we go. And what we were talking about in the last one was we were getting into the little self and the devil and the concept of the darkness and what that actually is. And I love what they're saying about this, because this is what I was always shown, was that Jesus is us, and also so is the devil. So you don't get one without the other. They're attached through you, because you choose to feel love or you choose to feel hate. You choose to feel forgiveness and compassion or revenge and anger. These are choices we make with our will. And those choices are what turn us into the good angel or the dark angel. And they both truly are within us. So as we've come to understand, we are all equally loved by God. And since we are all part of the source, if we perpetuate the myth generated by religions that the devil exists outside of us, we abdicate personal responsibility for our own unhealed, unloving state of consciousness. When a person projects their shadow onto another, that which he most fears about himself begins to take on a life of its own. People who cheat or do other things, this is all just reflections of their own shadow self, the ego. The ego is trying to get its needs met. So, 3rd century Christian theologian Origen, one of the most well-known fathers of the church, promoted the externalization of the shadow, seeking to make it easy for the common man to understand the concept. But in the process, he reinforced the idea that the problem lies outside of us instead of within us. Origen said that we should visualize this internal conflict as a little devil and a little angel, just like the cartoons when we were kids. See a little devil on one shoulder and a little angel on the other shoulder? It's the same exact concept. And we've been seeing this since we were children. All men are moved by 2 angels. An evil one who inclines them to evil, and a good one who inclines them to do good. If there are good thoughts in your heart, there is no doubt that is the angel of the Lord, and he is speaking to you. But if evil comes into your heart, it is the angel of the evil one speaking to you. However, what is at work here is not the devil. It is the pull between 2 opposing currents. One that takes us away from love, and the other that brings us back into the connection with our higher self. So, this is the nature of evil. Given that the shadow, the great adversary, is not something that exists outside of us, it does not mean that there are not negative forces in the world. So, what is this evil? Evil is acting against spiritual law. Acting against the spiritual laws of the universe in such a way that it creates a distortion in the little self that separates us from the law of one. The law of one tells us that each sentient being, human, plant, and animal alike, is an expression of the light of God. Thus, we are all divine sparks that are evolving in consciousness, and that all of us are worthy to be loved, even when our actions are based on ignorance, illusion, misaligned thinking, and bad programming. When a person gives away his power to the negative emotions of anger, fear, self-righteousness, and separation, then he has given his power over to the shadow. This moves us away from our own divine qualities of love, kindness, honor, and honesty. We fall out of alignment with Ma'at, as the Egyptians believed, the principle of divine truth. People who follow the path of darkness are those who have clouded themselves with their own inner light. They've clouded themselves with the illusion that we are separate from one another. And that makes it easy to justify hatred, vanity, greed, pride, anger, jealousy, cruelty, judgment, torture, and egoic ambition. These souls have fallen victim to the shadow, the illusion of separation. They have forgotten that we all come from, that we all come from the same illuminated source. They have wrapped themselves up in a shroud of delusion and called it religion or righteousness. These people are actually afraid of the light, for they fear that it will annihilate them. I've seen this in the astrals. I've seen people in the darker realms, and you try to get them out, and they won't go. They're scared. They're scared of their own light. They're scared of truth. They are so ashamed of what they have done that they can't remember their own light. And one of the best ways I've seen to pull the ones out that can come out is to show them your light and then remind them that that light is inside of them too, and have them look for it. And if they will see it. And then you tell them, now make it brighter. And they will. And as it grows, their light will encompass them and fill them, and they automatically rise. It's beautiful and it's powerful. Some of the coolest memories of the higher realms that I've ever had. So really amazing stuff when you can retrieve souls from darkness. So they are scared that the light will annihilate them. Yet, nothing could be further from the truth, since the light essence is the essence of your being. The pure white fire lives within every being, waiting only to be activated by the power of love. So in the end, it is love that will free us from all the illusions and help us find our true path back home. Let me get a drink. My throat's shutting up again. Okay, I might have to break out the serious herbs and do a squirt. Okay, so as long as the lower worlds exist, there will always be polarity. light and dark, up and down, hot and cold, male and female. It is the nature of the created universe. But the higher levels, the forces of light and darkness, are largely separate from each other. However, in the physical world, these polarities are mixed together. Wow. So, it is much harder to tell the honest people from those who are steeped in lies. Any observation of the world around us will underscore this realization. We find rich, successful people doing horrible, immoral things like molesting children, while there are saints like Mother Teresa humbly going about their mission, largely unnoticed by the world. Many times the richest materialists are the shysters, the con artists, the warlords, the politicians, the manipulators, whilst the wisest, most compassionate people may be the peasants, the fishermen, the dock workers, the street cleaners, the people who will never achieve fame or glory in this world. Professional athletes who spend their lives in violent sports are paid vast sums of money so that we can watch them destroy their bodies in public contests that we call sport. While school teachers who shape the minds of our children are paid minimum wage salaries and can barely pay their rent. So this world is one that has been turned upside down. On earth, the good is bad, and the ugly are all mixed up together. So, it takes a great deal of discernment to see what is genuine, what is enduring and true. This is why earth is such a difficult classroom, and it is hard to master. Only by awakening our hearts and engaging with our true self can we see past the veil of the illusion and find the way out of this mind field. And that is exactly what it is. It's a mind field. It's all about consciousness, and it is all about the mind. And what we feel and think about, we bring about. But I can tell you what, the magnetic fields that operate inside of our being are so powerful, and the mind emanates about 60 hertz, I think. But the heart is way bigger, way bigger. So we need to connect to the heart, because it is where the true power is, and it is where your most powerful source of creation is within you. It's through that magnetic force. And that force, if it's working with love, there's nothing stronger. Nothing stronger than love. That's why they always say that. The greatest power is love. It's true. Absolutely true. So when darkness abounds, feel love. When darkness comes into your reality, shift the frequency. All you have to do is laugh. All you have to do is play music that makes you want to shake your butt. Do the things that bring you joy. No darkness can stand in the frequency of love and light. What happens when you bring a candle into a dark room? It's no longer dark. So shine your light and shine it bright. And do whatever you need to do to feel whatever you need to feel to make yourself feel right and feel happy and feel positive frequency. Because, as Brian says, be the frequency you want to receive. That is such a deep wisdom, and it is the foundation of everything we're experiencing. It's vibration. Everything here is vibration. And once you understand that, and we can truly start to grasp that concept, that thought, vibration, sound, feelings, those are the true creative forces of everything we see. So the eye, the third eye, which is the one that sees the subconscious mind, that is the creator in this reality. So once we start to dive into our subconscious mind and start to correct some of the programs that were installed in us from childhood, we'll start making some great headway with fixing our collective consciousness. And we do that by healing each other and healing ourselves and staying in love. So, okay. Now they go into the 3 gunas. Earlier, we talked briefly about the tamas and the sattva, which are accompanied by the third term, raja. These are the 3 gunas, which according to Hindu philosophy are the 3 primal qualities at work in the universe. These are the main powers of cosmic intelligence that determine our spiritual growth in the great chain of being. The Sanskrit word guna means which blinds, because when they are wrongly understood, they keep us in bondage to the external world. The principle of the 3 gunas is not only applied to the life of an individual person, but also to an entire culture, movement, and world age. The highest of these 3 energetic waves is sattva, the sattva path. This is an upward moving energy that carries us back to source itself. The word is derived from sat, meaning holy, to sattva. Culture is one whose art, music, architecture, and literature are all oriented to the divine sattva. Cultures manifest during golden ages, in which people live lives of goodness and integrity and alignment with the light. Many eras of the Egyptian and Hindu civilizations, for example, were oriented towards these principles, creating architecture, art, and customs that were in harmony with the forces of divine. These cultures also taught the principles of the afterlife, thereby helping people achieve mystical states of consciousness to advance their individual enlightenment to secure a higher place in heaven. The energy of the Raja guna is horizontal in nature. It produces a materialistic society that is rich, opulent, diversely creative, and deeply invested in the physical world. It is also based on the belief that bigger is better. Sounds like our existence. The path often believes that the physical world is all that there is, and thus the level of true spirituality is limited. The Raja cultures are highly creative ones, much like our own, giving souls the chance to express themselves in new creative ways in the world of form. From pet rocks to blenders, from wild fashion jewelry to hula hoops to jukeboxes and computers. The Raja cultures produce a huge smorgasbord of ideas. They also contain subcurrent of spirituality that is usually expressed through religion or humanitarian causes. Yet the real keys to spiritual enlightenment are often concealed or obscured. And this is what's going on with us. These cultures focus on mastering the physical world and profiting from them, much as we in the West do today. The third guna is the downward pulling tamas. energy that leads us away from the light. This path is one of selfishness, brutality, violence, and it feeds on the misery of others. This path is consumed by emotions of fear, hate, jealousy, prejudice, lust, self-righteousness, and accusative thinking. People who are immersed in the wave of energy may be obsessed with horror movies, pornography, drugs, crime, obsessions, fetishes, sex trade, and child abuse. A tamas culture is also fascinated with the darker elements of the underworld, such as werewolves, vampires, and monsters. Ooh, looks like we've entered the tamas realm. It breeds greed, cruelty, chaos, addiction, and ultimately traps the soul in the bowels of the lower planes. Ooh. These people choose angry, discordant music, obsessive thinking, and violence. Nazi Germany, for example, became a tamas culture of control, prejudice, oppression, and murder. Today, when we look at the horrendous oppression being played out in the Middle East, we can see tamas at work. In the bombings of the terrorist groups, daily acts of violence, and the suppression of women, tamas cultures pull the soul away from the harmony of its own eternal nature, dragging it downward as it seeks to extinguish our own connection to light. Wow. Most of the United States and Western Europe are primarily Rajas cultures that have been focused for decades on the accumulation of material wealth and the perfection of the human body. In these cultures, mainstream scientists are encouraged to believe only in the physical. Fortunately, for our scientific paradigm, it's now beginning to shift towards a recognition in the role of the non-physical energies how they play in creation of the universe and how they affect our bodies. In the Rajaistic culture, we have mostly good intentional churches, mosques, and synagogues that exist in an altruistic force trying to uphold some semblance of morality and assist people in times of need. Yet, how many times have we found our preachers or priests and televangelists caught up in greed, power, illicit sex activities, while showing no true wisdom and not helping the masses? And how many powerful multimillionaires continue to be focused on power, greed, and material wealth to the detriment of our environment, our animals, and the common man? These are the negative expressions of that current. Today, even though we live in a rich, opulent Raja society, there are also even darker subcurrents in motion. While the tamas component of society may at first seem to be fun, pushing our boundaries with honor, movies, and fascination with zombies and vampires, it is also seen in the daily dose of robberies, shootings, killings viewed on the television each night. It is also expressed in the increase of sexual addictions and perversions, the proliferation of pornography on the internet, and the horrendous increase of the sex slave trade that is being run by the darkest and most debased of all people. Make no mistake, there is a strong sattva current operating in our Raja culture. This is found in the growing number of people who have chosen to align with life-affirming causes and who are committed to a spiritual awakening and to the care of Mother Earth. These people are behind many of the great charities, and they are trying to protect the rights of animals. They want to end hunger and cruelty and improve educational opportunities. They are the individuals who are growing organic food, developing clean energy. They are committed to ecological balance, supporting women and their rights, working in general for spiritual growth, the rights of minorities, and the rights for all. In general, they want spiritual growth. They are doctors, nurses, chiropractors, naturopaths, yoga teachers, and healers who are dedicated to practicing holistic methods of health and healing. These members of society are attuned to the planet and to climate change. They are not interested in war. Instead, they're busy building lives based on kindness, authenticity, and service. They see the interconnectedness of all living beings and are committed to restoring our planet to wholeness. We will resume with the big picture on the next one. I got to give my throat a break. So hopefully I'll be able to do another one shortly here after I drink some tea and take some more meds and take some more herbs. So I love you all. I hope you're enjoying these teachings. This resonates with me so deeply for everything I've always been shown. Jesus always told me He is us and we are one. And the more I learn, it is true. There is no greater power than the power of us beating as one heart together, because that is the true power of love. And when we connect with love, there's nothing we cannot create. So we need to focus on feeling good as often as possible in defeating the Satans and the little ego that lives inside each and every one of us. And it's time to tell it to go sit in timeout for a little while. It needs a timeout so we can reconnect to our oversoul and to the good angel that wants to be heard and wants to help heal our world. So I love you all. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.